I'm hawking and get what he say. There ain't no bad, no way. What am I supposed to do? Is to struggle every day. I used to struggle with righteous niggas. Now all I do is the righteous nigga. I know you with the mightiest. Yeah, all in this bosom you find me, yeah. I see these haters love Asian food. Cause all that they do now is try cat. This is my culture, I took it back. I'm riding too high for the Lord tax. Came a new man where they know me. I came a long way from the cul-de-sac. Got comfy and y'all was adversity. This smile on my face equals certainty. These rocky roads, I just buckled up. These cocky foes, y'all gon' hush them up. The steam your hood, you know that's a must. Need the power, I put on my trust. She asked you lost the shots. He surround me around the clock. If you come against me, you gon' flop. Everything that he is, you're not. I'm mocking and do what he say. There ain't no bad, no way. What am I supposed to do? Is to struggle every day. She asked you lost the shots. He surround me around the clock. If you come against me, you gon' flop. Everything that he is, you're not. I'm mocking and do what he say. There ain't no bad, no way. What am I supposed to do? Is to struggle every day.
Alrighty, shalom, shalom, shalom. Let's go ahead and get into this thing. For those who follow us, you already kind of know what route we've been on since the last week. So we're going to follow up today. Out of order, out of place. The world is running out of function, out of its course, and out of its place, because what? The Israelites are not in order and not in place. Alright? The way we're going to restore this, the way we're going to get it back, is through God's law, statutes, and commandments, which is going to declare us back to who we are. Because the world has told the black man, nah. The world has told the so-called black man, you Israelites, that you are nothing. You are the least to be desired. So the world said.
Right.
But as I said, through keeping God's law, statutes, and commandments, we will prove the world to be a lie, and at the same time taking back our rightful spot. All right, let's go to Isaiah. Isaiah 13:12.
Isaiah chapter 13 and verse 12. Isaiah chapter 13 and verse 12. I will make a man more precious than fine gold, even a man than the gold wedges of Ophir.
Right. So the Lord says that he will make a man more precious than fine gold. What gold? The gold of Ophir. What gold is that? The best gold you can find.
Right.
The Lord said the man would be the most precious, be more precious than the best gold you could ever find.
Right.
Now, how's that going to happen? Through God's law, statutes, and commandments. You know what I'm saying? Through God's law, statutes, and commandments. And when the time comes of the judgment, when the world start to get shook up and only the righteous men are standing, you're going to come, that's where, go to Isaiah real quick. We in Isaiah, right?
Yeah.
Give me Isaiah chapter 4, verse 1. We living in those times somewhat today, and of course a lot of camps try to tie this to the kingdom. But I'll explain some things on while we reading it. Read it real quick.
Isaiah chapter 4 and verse 1. Isaiah chapter 4 and verse 1. And in that day 7 women shall take hold of one man, saying, we will eat our own bread and wear our own apparel. Only let us be called by thy name to take away our reproach.
Right. So it says, in that day 7 women will take hold to one man. I mean, what? 7 women for each man. And I don't want to be too literal, but at the same time, if you want to be literal and be simple, that's on y'all. I can't keep explaining as I'm going. In that day, 7 women will try to cleave to one man. That's how valuable one man will be. Similar to what? That man is more precious than the best gold. Most women looking for diamonds, golds, and riches. And this day, seven women would be willing to take hold of one man. That's just how precious the righteous man gonna be. All right, but to this day, you say that to the women today, they look at you like, nigga, you crazy. Why? Because you Israelite men have become, the nation of Israel has become a degenerate vine. Nah, we departed from God's laws. Read that in Isaiah 5:1.
Isaiah chapter 5 and verse 1. Isaiah chapter 5 and verse 1. Now will I sing to my well-beloved a song of my beloved touching his vineyard. My well-beloved have a vineyard in a very fruitful hill. And he fenced it, and gathered out the stones thereof, and planted it with the choicest vine, and built a tower in the midst of it.
Right. So basically, what's going on here is this Lord is basically similar to in the vineyard, and Isaiah similar to in the vineyard. And what's going on here really is talking about how Israel, when the Lord created you, He gave you everything you needed. He planted you in the right place. Basically saying how the Most High created a nation and gave them everything that you needed. Go ahead.
And also made a winepress therein. And he looked that it should bring forth grapes, and it brought forth wild grapes. Keep reading. And now, O inhabitants of Jerusalem, and men of Judah, judge, I pray you, betwixt me and my vineyard. What could have been done more to my vineyard, that I have not done in it? Wherefore, when I looked that it should bring forth grapes, brought it forth wild grapes. And now go to, I will tell you what I will do to my vineyard. I will take away the hedge thereof, and it shall be eaten up, and break down the wall thereof, and it shall be trodden down.
All right. So here we reading basically how the Most High was going to send us into captivity and such, and how the destruction of Israel would come. The reason I want to go through this was to show you how the Most High was going. What Isaiah was talking through Isaiah, showing how when the Lord created you, He gave you everything necessary. Everything was at your hands, at your feet, and you were also planted as a pure vine, a pure people. Everything was given to us that we needed to sustain. He said, "I gave you everything. What more could you actually want?" And you know what? The nation of Israel, us being who we are, we want to be like everybody else, unsatisfied. We want to mix and mingle and everything else. And we became a degenerate vine. We walked away from the law, statutes, and commandments, and through that, the Most High sent us into captivity. And then thus through captivity, like we do today, instead of getting better in captivity, what we do? We get worse. Instead of us accepting that we in captivity for not keeping God's commandments or whatever the case may be, we decide we're going to be like the people we in captivity too. All right, so now, let's go into it. Let's go. One of the reasons why we out of place. What's out of place? Out of order. Let's start it. Let's go back to what? These women. Let's go to 1 Peter, chapter 3. First Peter chapter 3, let's go to verse 6.
1 Peter chapter 3 and verse 6. 1 Peter chapter 3 and verse 6. Even as Sarah obeyed Abraham, calling him Lord, whose daughters ye are as long as ye do well, and are not afraid with any amazement.
It says, whose daughters ye are, as long as ye do well. As long as, once again, is a stipulation. Just like the Most High God says, if ye love me,
right,
keep my commandments. If you love me,
right,
that's a stipulation. If you love me, you're going to keep the commandments.
Right.
And you are a daughter of Sarah as long as you do well. But the bottom part, read that again.
And are not afraid with any amazement.
And are not afraid with any amazement. Again, why would Paul expound on that? As long as the women do well and are not afraid with any amazement. Because we in a
I'm gonna say because Righteous women are looked down on. They look down upon now. If they see you obeying your husband and submit to him and doing it, that woman be like, girl, you crazy as hell. You got me, I ain't bound down to know. You know where I'm going.
Yeah.
Because in this time, when Paul's rebuking, you got an era where it was weak men and boisterous women. It sounds a lot like today, right?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? That they were worshiping women. And you had women that, because women had been given so much power and authority and liberty, because women women hated Paul. Let's just put it like that.
Of course.
Paul was rebuking the hell out of women. Right?
They hit him out today.
So watch this. So it said without any amazement, because at this point in time, they giving women power, and it was almost like same thing today. Astonishing for a woman to actually submit to a man.
Right.
Let's go to Acts. Acts 19. Acts chapter 19, right? And let's go to verse 24. This is what it kind of goes into. I'll show y'all what I mean.
Acts chapter 19 and verse 24. Acts chapter 19 and verse 24. For a certain man named Demetrius, a silversmith, which made silver shrines for Diana.
For who?
Diana.
So he's making silver shrines for Diana, meaning he's Diana. There's a certain man here that is worshiping Diana, which is also known today as the fertility god. Okay, go ahead.
Brought no small gain unto the craftsmen, whom he called together with the workmen of like occupation, and said, Sirs, ye know that by this craft we have our wealth.
Go ahead.
Moreover, ye see and hear that not alone at Ephesus, but almost throughout all Asia, this Paul have persuaded and turned away much people.
All right, go to Peter's, 1 Peter's 1 and 1. So now I gave you a location of where they're at in Asia. You know what I'm saying? 1 Peter's 1 and 1.
1 Peter chapter 1 and verse 1. 1 Peter chapter 1 and verse 1. Peter, an apostle of Christ, to the strangers scattered throughout Pontus, Galatia, Cappadocia, Asia, and Bethany.
All right. So now that's just me showing you how Paul was where he was ministering, how he was sent here and there. Well, you get a miracle from that, but never mind. Let's keep moving. Let's go back to where we was at. So now you see that he is the apostle sent to minister to the Gentiles. He's up in these Gentile states at the place where these people are worshiping statues of Diana. You know what I'm saying? Basically giving reverence to who? The woman. Giving reverence and power to the woman here. Right now, go back to first Acts. I said first Acts. Go back to Acts 19. Pick up where we stopped.
Acts chapter 19 and verse 26. Acts chapter 19 and verse 26. Moreover, ye see and hear that not alone at Ephesus, but almost throughout all Asia, this Paul hath persuaded and turned away much people, saying that they be no gods which are made within. So that not only this our craft is in danger to be set at naught, but also that the temple of the great goddess Diana should be despised.
So you see what he said? This dude here, he is what we would call today a weak brother.
Right.
He is hard down fighting for what? The power to get the power to a woman.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? They represent statues. These is idols.
It's a hot damn shame.
And once again, Diana is who? The fertility god.
Right.
Yep.
Go ahead.
And her
Salakia, what? Just for anybody in here, specifically you women. I don't want you brothers to answer this one. You women, who is the fertility god? What so-called man-made holiday do they associate the fertility god with?
Easter.
Right, and her another name for her besides Diana. Yeah, very close. yeah, S-Star.
Yeah,
S-Star.
S-Star.
All right, let's go ahead.
All right. Right. So that not only this our craft is in danger to be set at naught, but also that the temple of the great goddess Diana should be despised, and her magnificence should be destroyed.
You hear the irreverence that this brother's putting on his idolatry.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Whom all Asia and the world worship.
So now it's showing you that the world was worshiping what?
This woman.
Bingo.
Yeah.
It's a damn.
Go ahead.
And when they heard these sayings, they were full of wrath,
Watch this. Watch this.
and cried out, saying, Great is Diana of the Ephesians.
Hey, I'm telling you, man, you can't make this stuff up.
For that woman is God.
Just I say, see how he tied it in? You call it just that fast.
Right.
Go ahead. Because this right here is them screaming, the black woman is God.
Right.
Go ahead.
And the whole city was filled with confusion. And having caught Gaius and Aristarchus, men of Macedonia, Paul's companions in travel, they rushed with one accord into the theatre. And when Paul would have entered in unto the people, the disciples suffered him not.
All right. So now, there's even a resistance against this. But I mean, what it's showing you is what our people have always naturally had a kickback against the men of God.
Right.
Because the men of God are going to do what? Restore order.
Speak against the
You know
bull.
what I'm saying? They were into worshiping the woman in idolatry. It's out of order. That's out of place. Okay? Now watch this. I'm going to show you something. Go to Jeremiah 44.
Shit, the whole city was confused.
This man did not want to let go of them idols, and he did not want power to go back to the hands of where it belongs.
Right.
In Jeremiah 44, we're going to pick up at 15. So, all of this is synonymous. Don't get it twisted. When we talk about the women in evil senses of the Bible, they all, honestly, from religion to religion, they are all the same people. Just different names.
Right.
Go ahead.
Jeremiah chapter 44 and verse 15. Jeremiah chapter 44 and verse 15. Then all the men which knew that their wives had burned incense unto other gods, and all the women that stood by, a great multitude, even all the people that dwelt in the land of Egypt and Pathros, answered Jeremiah, saying.
Now, this here, when we go through this history here is how we beat down on Mother's Day.
Right.
But this right here, it says, then all the men which knew that their wives had burned incense to other gods. So what is it telling you? It was men, just like when we read about in right. When we read in Acts, who was it that was trying to make sure the reverence kept and stayed to a woman? It was a certain man standing behind the women, right? Standing behind wickedness. Just like now we read here, all the men who knew their wives. So they knew their wives was in idolatry and burning incense. So what is this going into? It's going into cowardly men who are afraid to take order and afraid of their women. Go ahead.
All right. And as for the word that thou hast spoken unto us in the name of the Lord, we will not hearken unto thee. But we will certainly do whatsoever thing goeth forth out of our own mouth.
Such as?
To burn incense unto the Queen of heaven, and to pour out drink offering unto her.
Right, to pour out to the Queen of heaven. We're still talking about Ishtar. Go ahead.
And to pour out drink offerings unto her.
Salakia, Ishtar and the statue Mary.
Oh, okay. You still do that thing out of there.
Go ahead.
As we have done, we and our fathers, our kings and our princes, in the cities of Judah and in the streets of Jerusalem. For then had we plenty of victuals and were well and saw no evil.
Right, so these people here saying as long as they worship the idols and burn incense to the idols, they see no evil. Everything is good. Go ahead.
But since we left off to burn incense to the Queen of Heaven, and to pour out drink offerings unto her, we have wanted all things.
Right. So they're saying while we was in the midst of idolatry, worshiping idols and stuff, we didn't have any problem. But when we left them, kind of like today, and it's true. Brothers say, man, I was in the world, everything fluctuating good. I ain't have no problems. Came into the truth, and now it's 1,000,001 problems. That's the same speaking that these women are speaking here now. As long as they worship the woman and the idols and stuff, they have no issues. The moment they stop, hell comes. Go ahead.
And have been consumed by the sword and by the famine.
And the worst part about it is, remember when we started off, it mentions the coward brothers at first. Yeah. Our husbands know.
Yes,
all right. Then it comes down here. Watch this. Read on.
And when we burned incense to the Queen of Heaven and poured out drink offering unto her, did we make her cakes to worship her and pour out drink offerings unto her without our men?
Without who?
Without our men.
Now, the without our men, that I'm telling you, the Bible, if you read and you put yourself down, you really visualize, you will catch it when I'm saying it. You got one part where the women are talking about they coward husbands that's letting them do what they doing. Then you got the other part where the women say without our husbands. You know what that's saying? What do they call themselves today? Independent woman. Mm-hmm. Strong.
Oh, man, yeah.
Bingo. Read on.
All right. Then Jeremiah said. Then Jeremiah said unto all the people, to the men and to the women, to all the people which had given him that answer, saying, the incense that ye burn in the cities of Judah and in the streets of Jerusalem, ye and your fathers, your kings, your princes, and the people of the land, did not the Lord remember them, and came it not into his mind?
Where you at?
I'm about to hit 22.
All right, give me 22 and we'll move on.
All right. So the Lord could no longer bear because of the evil of your doings, and because of the abominations which you have committed. Therefore is your land a desolation, and an astonishment, and a curse without an inhabitant, as at this day.
So basically, what happens is judgment comes down. Mm-hmm. What's happening here, basically what it's telling you is, as long as you worship the women, basically what he was saying, as long as y'all worshiping these women and you put them above you, you know what I'm talking about, man, as long as we, it's kind of, all right. So he was basically saying, as long as you worshiping the woman, you putting the woman above you, the world will always be out of place. Mm-hmm. It's going to always be out of its course.
Whack.
All right. Watch this. Sirach 33:17.
Excuse me.
Sirach chapter 33 and verse 17. Sirach chapter 33 and verse 17. Consider that I labored not for myself only, but for all them that seek learning.
Shalaki, I got the wrong damn scripture. Y'all forgive me. Let's go back to where we was at. I got that twisted.
Jeremiah.
Go back to Jeremiah. Drop it.
Just read from.
Get verse 23.
All right, verse 23. Jeremiah chapter 44 and verse 23. Because ye have burnt incense, and because ye have sinned against the Lord, and have not obeyed the voice of the Lord, nor walked in his law, nor in his statutes, nor in his testimonies. Therefore, this evil is happened unto you.
Right. So the Lord said, because you out of order, because your women out of order, because you out of order and the women ruling over you, this evil thing is starting to happen to you. So now the Lord is showing you that evil things come from what?
I'm going to leave.
For things being out of place.
Right.
Right. And it's crazy you mentioned it like that, because now from there we could jump somewhere else. But read on.
Moreover, Jeremiah said unto all the people and to all the women, hear the word of the Lord, all Judah that are in the land of Egypt. Thus saith the Lord of hosts, the God of Israel, saying, ye and your wives have both spoken with your mouths, and fulfilled with your hand, saying, we will surely perform our vows that we have vowed, to burn incense to the Queen of Heaven, and to pour out drink offerings unto her. Ye will surely accomplish your vows, and surely perform your vows. Therefore, hear ye the word of the Lord. All Judah that dwell in the land of Egypt, behold, I have sworn by my great name, saith the Lord, that my name shall no more be named in the mouth of any man of Judah in all the land of Egypt, saying, the Lord God liveth.
Now, that's how you ended up with your last names today. That's how you end up with the last name Thompson, Johnson. All them, y'all know what I mean. Every last one of these slave names you got, that's where it come from. The Lord taking his name, pushing you into captivity, and therefore they gave you names. But it all starts from what? The women being out of order, you men not taking your place.
Right.
That's what we reading here. All right, so now watch this. Let's go to Proverbs. Proverbs chapter 31. And let's go to verse. I guess let's start at 10.
Proverbs chapter 31 and verse 10.
As a fact, hold this. Get me Isaiah first. Isaiah 3 and 12.
Isaiah chapter 3 and verse 12. Isaiah chapter 3 and verse 12. As for my people, children are their oppressors, and women rule over them. O my people, they which lead thee cause thee to err, and destroy the way of thy paths. So the Most High God was saying, as for my people, you men of Israel, he said, children are their oppressors. Meaning that the kids right now are stressed on all of us. Meaning they the ones who are always troubling, they out of order, disrespecting you, they're oppressors. Our own kids are oppressing us. And women rule over them. Meaning that right now, the man's supposed to be in the lead. But at this point, the women are ruling over the man. And the Most High saying, oh, my people, they which lead thee, when he let you know, the women are leading right now, but since they lead thee, they cause you to err.
Right. Exactly why when we was reading in Jeremiah, it showed what happened. Mm-hmm. They were worshiping women. They continued to keep women above them, not putting the women in check, not putting everything back in the respective places.
Right.
So he went into captivity. Now we come here to show you that what? Same thing. If the woman is leading, you already know you're going into error.
Right.
Read it again. You was breaking it down.
Isaiah chapter 3 and verse 12. As for my people, children are their oppressors, and women rule over them. O my people, they which lead thee cause thee to err.
They that lead thee cause thee to err.
And destroy the way of thy paths.
And destroy the ways of thy paths. You got more you want to add to it? Because I don't want to cut you off.
Well, no, go ahead.
All right. Well, let's go back. So the women the women are ruling. And the women that are ruling are going to naturally bring forth children that's going to do what? Oppress. Right. Now watch this. Go to Proverbs 31. And I'm not going to say that it can't be done. You know we got some women that did bring up seed that we can say, oh man. But for the most part, whoo! Proverbs 31, jump to verse 10.
Proverbs chapter 31 and verse 10.
So everything is out of order, out of wish-wash. Now we trying to find a way to get it back right. Let's do it. Let's read what the Most High got to say.
Proverbs chapter 31 and verse 10. Who can find a virtuous woman?
Uh-huh.
For her price is far above rubies.
Her price is far above rubies. It is very hard to find a virtuous woman. The reason why it's worded like this is because it's telling you that what? 90% of the women we come across ain't going to be that.
Right.
Go ahead.
The heart of her husband does safely trust in her.
Right, go ahead.
So that he shall have no need of spoil. Right,
his heart can safely trust in this woman that she would never do him wrong. He can leave and not worry that he gonna know he got a simple ass wife. Somebody ain't gonna be able to smooth talk her out of her panties and as such. And at the same time, he have no need to spoil her. Meaning what? He won't have to step out on her because she'll be everything that he needs her to be.
Right.
Go ahead.
She would do him good and not evil all the days of her life.
Right. Now that's hard to find. A woman that'll entreat you with goodness versus evil. Because we all have in our mind what we think good is. But when you look into the spirit, I'll guarantee you, your definition of good is evil. If it ain't the Bible's definition.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Go ahead.
She seeketh wool and flax and worketh willingly with her hand.
This sister worketh willingly with her hands. She seeketh flax and worketh willingly with her hands. That ties into some of the stuff I was bringing out last week. You know what I'm saying? Now watch this. Let's go to what hell we was at.
Something right now, that was Proverbs 31. And he just finished 13.
Okay, let's go back to. We just finished what verse?
13.
Get 14.
Verse 14. She is like the merchant ships. She bringeth her food from afar.
She go out and get it, basically. She'll go out and get it and bring off food from afar. Go ahead.
She riseth also while it is yet night, and giveth meat to her household, and a portion to her maidens.
Right. So this is why we say that righteous woman, man, because it's giving you her attributes. You know what I'm saying? This woman, she bring her man no evil. She do him good all the days of her life. And you know what? This woman is up early preparing food for the house. That's also showing her working what? Willingly with her hands.
Right.
This righteous woman will do these things. Now jump back to verse 10 one more time.
Verse 10. Who can find a virtuous woman? For her price is far above rubies.
So the Lord go to breaking down all these things, right? And one day I'm going to go ahead and do the whole chapter because I know I've seen some things in the inbox where women was like, you know, they get the gist of it, but every camp seems to just read certain verses and leave a chapter alone. So as a part of the commitment, something that I told one of the sisters, I'm going to eventually give y'all this whole chapter breakdown. So, in the meantime, read that again, Salaki. I'm sorry. Verse 10
Verse 10.
and 11.
Who can find a virtuous woman? For her price is far above rubies. The heart of her husband doth safely trust in her.
The heart of the husband can trust safely in this woman. Go ahead.
So that he shall have no need of spoil. Hebrew.
So he should have no need of spoil. Now that's a virtuous woman. And we read this. This is what the women, the attributes that the women are. Proverbs 31. We all sure that are aware that every woman in Israel is supposed to be aspiring to be this.
Yeah, they are.
So we read the attributes. It wouldn't be written here if it wasn't women walking around like this.
Right.
Today's women. Today's women, they say, do him no evil, do him good, all the days of the shit. Today's women, big mouth, stubborn, rebellious.
Right.
so I was looking and said, I seen a couple classes, not just the one we were doing, a couple classes. I was like, damn, it's just as stubborn, rebellious. They some of them talking as soon as the class is over. Some of them talking through the class.
Yeah.
I said, goddamn. When you read that, when you see it, it's like, give me Sirach 32 and 17.
Sirach chapter 32 and verse 17. Sirach chapter 32 and verse 17. A sinful man would not be reproved, but finding an excuse according to his will.
That's why the scriptures say the Lord hated the putting forth the fingers. Why? Because what? Let's just keep it real. You brothers, all y'all know this. What happens when you try to tell a woman about her wrongdoings?
Oh, she pointing the fingers.
The first thing normally come out their mouth is, well, what about you? When you did, or you know what I'm saying?
So you can do it, I can't.
Yeah, it go both ways, like stuff. The Lord said, I hate the putting forth the fingers. Why? Because that's like finding an excuse.
Right.
It's gonna according to your will. What you it says, but finding an excuse according to His will. That's an excuse. I did this because you did such and such. Well, what about when you do it? You know what I'm saying? We ain't talking about when I do it right now. We're talking about what you just did.
Or when they be like, well, I said it like this, or I did it because I was mad.
That's finding an excuse. Read it 17 again. What's the first line to this?
A sinful man would not be reproved.
That's the first thing it tell you. A sinful man will not be reproved. So when you get to the sisters, Now, and y'all know, let's keep it 1,000. How many classes have I done going hard on men?
100 million.
Can you show me one class where you seen the men start typing in there and start saying, what about this? Blah, 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 blah. Show me one class where I was going in on men and the men had a rebuttal while classes on.
Shit.
You don't find it. Why? Because for the most part, men, it's a little easier to deal with you brothers because you kind of know what a man stands at. You say what you say to them and then it's either they accept it or they don't. And you can tell right away.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But with the women, it's the moment you start with them, I got to cook. I got to find something to put it on. So you know what I'm saying? So, a sinful man will not be reproved. Basically, I went here for the reason to show you what. When you get to the point where you see the women typing in the classes and stuff like that, or going back and always pointing fingers, what you're seeing is the women who are not really willing or wanting to change. You know what I'm saying? They're not really wanting to change. That's what you're going to see. And if that's the case, I'm like, some of you women are witches. Let's be real, because you're stubborn. You're rebellious. Get Exodus 22:18.
Exodus chapter 22 and verse 18.
That's a fact. Get me 1 Samuel first so it'll make sense. Because I said that the women are witches. The ones that, point the fingers and make excuses or whatever the case may be. Them that, when I say you can see they just don't want to change. That's the pointing fingers going off and it's making excuses and stuff. Those are the sisters that don't actually want to change. Making them stubborn, rebellious, all of that. 1 Samuel 15:23.
1 Samuel chapter 15 and verse 23. 1 Samuel chapter 15 and verse 23. For rebellion is as the sin of witchcraft.
Say what?
For rebellion is as the sin of witchcraft.
Go ahead.
And stubbornness is as iniquity and adultery.
Right.
Idolatry.
Idolatry. So, which one is idolatry?
Stubbornness. Stubbornness
is idolatry. You know what I'm saying? Now, that's an attribute that a lot of women carry. And I ain't going to just say women on that case. It's a lot of stubborn brothers. Yeah. Well, guess what? You better get over that spirit because that spirit is considered idolatry. And the scriptures say all idolaters have their part in the lake of fire.
Yes.
You got to get over your own stubbornness. I'm going to give you just a little stuff. It be some stuff on y'all mind, right? And you want to say it. But, or, have you ever seen somebody where something is eating them up? You like, bro, just go apologize. Or you got something on your chest, you really want to say it, but you ain't going to say it. Why? Because you don't want to be the first one to speak. That's a stubborn spirit. I want you to know that. You're in the midst of idolatry when you operate like that. That's why you think scripture always say, go to your brother. Admonish a friend. It always tell you these things because you just holding your tongue knowing you got something you really want to talk about. And both of y'all can feel the tension because that's why neither one of y'all speaking to each other.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? You see that thing. I mean, come on, man. It be Sabbath in here when I be seeing a brother come in or a sister come in and you can tell that they got something they really want to say to each other, but nobody want to be the one to say anything first.
Right.
You're dealing in the spirit of stubbornness. You're idolater. Why? Because you caught up in you. And then it says, read that verse again, Slaki. I'm sorry.
For rebellion is as the sin of witchcraft.
So rebellion is as the sin of witchcraft. Rebellion is the unwillingness to change.
Right.
And stubbornness is as iniquity and idolatry.
And stubbornness is idolatry. All right. So now, what's the judgment for witches and witchcraft?
Oh, you should be put to death.
Give me Exodus 22:18.
Exodus chapter 22 and verse 18. Exodus chapter 22 and verse 18. Thou shalt not suffer a witch to live.
So the scripture says, thou shalt not suffer, meaning thou shalt not permit. Thou shalt not permit or allow a witch to live. So if the Lord is saying that we shouldn't do it, back in those days when we could put them to death, what do you think is going to happen to you if you be declared a witch?
You get put to death.
Your sisters got to get off of your rebellious and stubborn horses. It's time to understand. Yes, you're rebellion. I'm rebelling against you brothers taking the power back. Okay. Well, y'all was laughing at me.
Like, rebel some belts cause that
All right, let's go to Sirach. Sirach 4 and 17. The reason I want to go to this is because as we talking about rebelliousness and stubbornness, how it's witchcraft, and then we tying it into the woman who don't want to change or who fixed it, right? So when you think about it, I'm gonna show you something. It kind of shows our women to be simple. Sirach 4:17.
Sirach chapter 4 and verse 17. Sirach chapter 4 and verse 17. For at the first she would walk with him by crooked ways.
Right now, for at first she would walk with him by crooked ways. Now, for those who don't understand what the her is, the her here is talking about wisdom.
right.
I'm saying wisdom will walk with you at first by crooked ways. Meaning when you first come in, you ain't right. You still wicked. You still got certain things that you dibbling and dabbling with. You still got certain things you ain't overcame. So you wicked. But guess what? You learning. So wisdom is sticking with you now. So you learning, you understanding who you are. You know what I'm saying? As you start to learn. As you come in, you still ain't right. But wisdom is dealing with you. Go ahead.
And bring fear and dread upon him.
And it shall bring fear and dread upon him. Why?
And torment him with her discipline.
Right.
With her discipline.
She's going to torment you with her discipline. Why? Because you remember that's kind of synonymous to dying daily. You coming in and you letting go of all the things of the world that you thought was fun or that you grew to love.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Now you got to let it go. So it's tormenting you with her discipline. Why? Because wisdom is synonymous. You know what I'm saying? Her discipline is going to make you keep the laws.
Right.
Go ahead.
Until she may trust his soul.
Until she may trust your soul. So guess what? You come in, you ain't right, and now you learning. And because you sincere and you diligent in your walk, now you done got past some minor things that you got to change about you. Now you really looking into you, and now you start. Because what happens is when you come into truth, yeah, you loaded with sin, but all those particular sin, every sin that you loaded with ain't your particular vice. So it's easy to take certain things out. Don't eat pork no more, cool. Put fringes on my shirt, cool.
Right.
I can't wear pants, cool. You know what I'm saying? Those ain't your vices. Those are little knickknacks that you shed off.
Right.
Then after that, you start having to eliminate things that you think made you who you are. Now that's where the fight comes in, because now you got to really eliminate and, you know what I'm saying, examine you.
Right.
To let those wicked ways go. And where we at? She was disciplined. Go ahead.
All right. Until she may trust his soul.
And by you staying faithful,
And
wisdom starts to trust your soul. Go ahead.
And try him by her law.
Go ahead.
Then will she return the straight way unto him, and comfort him, and show him her secret.
Right. So basically, it's saying that wisdom gives you a proven stage too. You come in, you ain't right, but I'm gonna show you some things. Then I'm gonna test you with discipline. Now you're gonna start killing off the old person that you were. And then you'll start walking right. And if she can trust you, she'll return to you and then show you her secret. That's where you start understanding the deep things in the Bible. You know what I'm saying? Stuff that you wouldn't understand, and now wisdom has opened itself to you because you earned her trust. But flip side.
But if he go wrong,
But if she go wrong,
she will forsake him,
meaning wisdom gonna leave. Go ahead.
and give him over to his own ruin.
Give you over to your own ruin. I mean, whatever particular vices or sins it is that you ain't trying to let go of, wisdom is going to leave you and let that have you. Showing you what? That, once again, when we talking about you doing the classes or whatever the case may be, or we talking about our women that want to be rebellious, want to be stubborn, they don't want to change, the Bible's letting you know that they done became stupid. that wisdom left them. Wisdom left them at a certain point. When you got to a certain state and then you stop fixing you, you stop wanting to change, you start rebelling against this and that and this and that, then the Lord said, okay, come on home, wisdom. And wisdom leaves and gives you to your ruin, and it leaves you simple as hell. Wisdom walks with you by crooked ways, but once you go off, wisdom leaves you to your own ruin. It's basically saying that they're showing you that those women that want to change, they simple as hell.
Right.
They simple as hell. And 9 times out of 10, their mouth is going to be their own ruin. That's why God told you to rule over them.
Right.
Because if not, you're going to have to kill them all.
Right.
There's it. Genesis 3:16.
If y'all ever talk to a simple woman, she's gonna lead your ass, slap you to your grave. I swear.
3:16. Genesis chapter 3 and verse 16. In Genesis chapter 3 and verse 16. Unto the woman he said, I will greatly multiply thy sorrow and thy conception. In sorrow thou shalt bring forth children, and thy desire shall be to thy husband, and he shall rule over thee.
And he shall rule over thee. Why? Because remember how the scripture say, the righteous husband shall sanctify the wife,
Yeah.
and the righteous wife shall sanctify the husband.
Right.
Well, y'all do understand that it's only going to be in limited cases where a woman is actually going to sanctify her husband. That's going to be in very, very limited cases. You only really read, I think probably once, honestly, in the Bible where there was a righteous woman and the nigga was considered wicked.
Abigail.
Yeah, Abigail and Nabal. Right.
That's true.
Remember the scripture said where no hedge is, the possession is spoiled.
Right.
Who the hell you think the hedge is?
The husband.
Bingo! There's a reason why, because the woman needs a righteous pillar to cleave. I mean, a righteous foundation to cleave to. If she don't, she gonna die.
Right.
You think I'm lying?
No.
Look at the first time a woman stepped out of road. The first time a woman stepped out of place to try to lead something, got their ass kicked out the garden. You know what I'm saying?
And Jezebel.
Right. Oh yeah, and Jezebel. Yeah.
And the woman who want to stick by her lying ass husband.
Right.
Lied too.
Well, I'm not gonna necessarily include her in that because his wicked ass had the scheme. she just followed him.
Yeah.
So it also shows, and since you brought that kind of shows how wives, you can't follow your husband if he wicked.
Right. He got to be a righteous head.
So watch this. So it says to rule over them. Now I'm gonna show y'all something because once again, Isaiah 3 and 12.
Isaiah chapter 3 and verse 12. Isaiah chapter 3 and verse 12. As for my people, children are their oppressors, and women rule over them. O my people, they that lead thee cause thee to err, and destroy the way of thy path.
All right, so once again, I come back here to top everything off to show that there's no reason she should be ruling over you. Because we just read the order.
Right.
You read Genesis 3 and 16 again, just in case they forgot.
Genesis chapter 3 and verse 16. In Genesis chapter 3 and verse 16. Unto the woman he said, I will greatly multiply thy sorrow and thy conception. In sorrow thou shalt bring forth children, and thy desire shall be to thy husband, and he shall rule over thee.
And he shall rule over thee. So now when we read in Sirach again, right, it said that wisdom will walk with us by crooked ways. Now we're dealing with the women today. It's going to walk with them by crooked ways. But once they go off, and they stop changing themselves, and they go to rebelling against the laws and the powers of the Most High, then you know what? The wisdom is going to lead them and lead them to their own ruin. And remember I said, 90% of the women, their ruin is going to be their own damn mouths.
Right.
And wisdom going to leave them to let them have their own mouth. You know what I'm saying? Watch this. I'm going to show you just how out of order our women have always been with their mouths. And I'm going to show you the level of disrespect they've always had when it came to the men with their mouths. Jimmy Luke. We're going to go to when Christ himself is speaking. Let's go to Luke chapter 11. Let's pick it up at 26. Y'all got to really read. I'll tell you, put yourself there when you be reading this stuff.
Right.
Watch this. Go
Luke chapter 11 and verse 26. Luke chapter 11 and verse 26. Then goeth he and taketh to him 7 other spirits more wicked than himself. And they enter in and dwell there. And And the last state of that man is worse than the first.
Right. So now we reading. This is Christ talking. In the middle of him talking, watch what happens. Verse 27.
And it came to pass, as he spoke these things,
Who's speaking?
Christ,
Go ahead.
a certain woman
What?
of the company lift up her voice and said unto him, Blessed is the womb that bare thee, and the paps which thou hast sucked.
While the Messiah is up there teaching, a big mouth black woman screams out over him, "Blessed be the womb that bare you,
And the titties you suck.
and that you suck." Basically, what's she doing? Telling Christ, "Shut up." The power goes to the woman.
Yeah.
And she done screamed over Christ's teaching to say, "Blessed be his mama." No, blessed be your mama who bare you, because if it wasn't for her, you wouldn't be here. Now, you gotta understand,
Yeah.
y'all know black women.
Yeah.
We read these words, but know what they really saying.
Right.
Put yourself there. You know she ain't jumped up and said, "Blessed be the womb that bear you."
Right.
I was and how you got here? A woman. Blessed be your mama. You better give your mama respect. Who did you suck? That's the black woman all day long.
Yeah.
Why the Messiah is talking? Why the Messiah is talking? She come out. Read it again, 27.
And it came to pass, as he spat these things, a certain woman of the company lifted up her voice and said unto him, Blessed is the womb that bare thee.
That be these sisters when you giving correction and they cut you off. That be these sisters when you doing correction or classes and they scoffing through the class. That be these women that you read in here. That same spirit runs today. The same spirit that was on that woman to cut Christ off when he was speaking, it's the same spirit that be on y'all wives when they cut you off in the middle of speaking. The same spirit that be on these sisters when the elders or the brothers amongst them is giving orders or talking to them and they don't like what they hearing. Instead of just listening. Proverbs 9:13.
Humble thy spirit.
Proverbs chapter 9 and verse 13. Proverbs chapter 9 and verse 13. A foolish woman is clamorous. She is simple and knoweth nothing.
Hold on. Now, he didn't have to say it like that. But Solomon was obviously fed up. read how he said it again.
Proverbs chapter 9 and verse 13. A foolish woman is clamorous.
So first he done called her stupid. Off rip. Then he called her sin. Well, he called her foolish. You know that goes into stupid and sinful.
Right.
So he called them both at once.
She is simple and knoweth nothing.
Oh Lord. He said she is simple and knoweth nothing. Clamorous woman. Full of words. Got something to say. Always talking. And they can also be loud. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? Because there's some women that try to beat you in a screaming match.
Yeah.
That's serious. You trying to restore order in the house. You go to hoop and holler, and now she matching you. I'm like, all right.
Your baby a pit bull.
We reading what the scriptures label it. Read it again.
A foolish woman
So
is clamorous.
that's right there. That's it. Read the first line.
A foolish woman is
Right.
clamorous.
No, I don't want the clamorous part. Just stop it.
A foolish woman.
Bingo. I was going to identify exactly what the Most High labeled that particular woman. A foolish woman. And then the clamorous goes into her attributes and stuff.
Gotcha.
All right. So now, watch this. Jump up to verse 8.
Verse 8.
I'm going to show you something. Now, this is crazy. This person is considered foolish and simple, right? Now, watch what verse 8 says.
Verse 8. Reprove not a scorner.
Reprieve not who?
A scorner.
A scorner. Someone who could. A scorner is kind of like one who showed no interest.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like they showed you that they don't believe in the Bible.
Right.
They showed you they don't believe in God.
They just out there
You
to
know what I'm
argue.
saying? Yeah, they. You know what I'm saying? Or, and the reason I'm tying this in because a scorner is someone who also is going to be unwilling to bingo, because no matter what they're gonna bring up something.
Right.
So if that's the case, the Bible says when you realize that this person is a scorner, what did it say?
Reprove not a scorner.
Meaning don't correct them. Reprove not a scorner,
Lest he hate you.
because he's going to hate you or she's going to hate you. Reproving people that are considered scorners, they are going to hate you. Read on.
Rebuke a wise man, and he will love you.
So now you see what the Bible's simply separating one smart and one stupid.
Yeah.
Okay. He said, don't reprove the dummies because they're going to hate you.
Right.
Reprove the wise and they're going to love you for it. Right? Now, with all of that being said, go back to the lady that cut off Christ. And watch this. So now Christ knows the laws. He done read this. He know this. As a fact, he the one saying, don't reprove a scorner. Now watch what happened. Read verse 27.
It was Luke 19.
11,
Yeah.
No.
Luke.
27.
Yeah.
Luke chapter 11 and verse 27. Luke chapter 11 and verse 27. And it came to pass, as he spake these things, a certain woman of the company lifted up her voice and said unto him, Blessed is the womb that bears thee, and the paps which thou hast sucked.
Now watch this. Now with Christ already telling you not to reprove a scorner, watch what he does anyways. Read on.
But he said, Yea, rather blessed are they that hear the words of God and keep it. Oh, yeah, he
So
was
yeah.
there.
So believe it or not,
He snapped.
he still cut her.
He snapped, too.
Regardless of what she was talking, and though he knows you don't supposed to reprove scorners, they just gonna hate you. Christ still cut her.
He was like, you out of line.
He still cut her. You wanna know why? I mean, so here it is. Christ speaking, and you got the big mouth woman who shouts over Christ. That same spirit is today, which is like I was telling y'all earlier. So, though Christ says not to waste your time reproving scorners, he still cut her. Showing you that what? Today, some of y'all, we going to deal with some foolish sisters. Some of you going to have foolish wives, whatever the case may be. And guess what?
Still got cut.
You still need to cut their ass. Though Christ knew it, Christ like, put that ass in check. Why? Because one thing Christ understood is if you let her run with that little bit of power, she's going to try to rule over you. And remember when we read in Sirach, when the scripture say, give not thy son, nor thy wife, nor thy friend, nor thy brother, all this stuff, power over thee, long as thou livest. The reason why it started with your household, because believe it or not, if that woman can't rule you with just herself, she will try to go through your kids to do it.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Well, you see a lot of brothers like, oh, don't let me see my baby, you know.
Yeah.
Take them with you. Yeah. So, though they knew, that's why the scripture. Give me. What's his name? Let me show you how you used to just tell a woman. Let me show y'all. If I should go to Timothy's 2.
My boy Tim.
Tim.
First Timothy.
Let me get old Tim.
Second.
First Tim. Or is it second? Let me check while I'm talking. Yes, it's first. Let me get First Tim chapter 2 and start at 10.
First Timothy chapter 2 and verse 10. First Timothy chapter 2 and verse 10. But which becometh woman professing godliness with good works.
Go ahead.
Let the woman learn in silence with all subjection.
So right there, let the woman learn. Go to 1 Corinthians 14:34. I'm gonna show y'all something. This is crazy. If you really read it and understand what they're saying here, you know.
1 Corinthians chapter 14 and verse 34. 1 Corinthians chapter 14 and verse 34. Let your women keep silence in the churches.
Basically, you know what he was saying to them, right? When you go back and read in the context, he literally walked in and told the women, shut the hell up.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? That's why, because you read about what the woman did when Christ talking.
Uplift her voice.
Supposed to be quiet. It's like that. That's why you hear brothers in the past in the Bible just telling women, shut the hell up. Just be quiet. Be quiet. You're going to cause confusion. Just be quiet. Just shut up. So, even though Christ knew what he knew, he still cut her ass. And you got to cut her too. Because if you don't, she'll run that same play back to you. And before you know it, you got more power and more power and more power.
You with a life full of hell.
All right. So now you got go to Isaiah 3. And we're gonna start at 16 because the fact that the women won't be quiet, the fact that the woman won't humble down, submit herself, so these brothers can take their rightful spot, it's the very reason why they in the position that they in now. Such as Isaiah 3 and 16.
Isaiah chapter 3 and verse 16. Isaiah chapter 3 and verse 16. Moreover, the Lord said, because thy daughters of Zion are haughty, and walk with stretched forth necks, and wanting eyes, walking and mincing as they go, and making a tinkling with their feet. Therefore the Lord will smite with a scab the crown of the head of the daughters of Zion, and the Lord will discover their secret parts.
Right. So the Most High God said, these are the reason you was hit with the curses. Because you're haughty, you're hard-headed, you walk with stretched forth necks like you're so stuck up. And the wanton eyes, you're looking at everything and every brother, especially if he got the nice car, his wallet extra fat, or you see something that you like on a brother.
You know what else is wanton eyes? They didn't teach us this, but doing some defining, wanton eyes is also this. The seductive look with the eyes highlight. You ever seen some women, they make, like I see women, she did something, she biting her finger, and the look had me pause. So I was like,
Yeah.
that super seductive look that I want to go look at these wannabe models pages now.
Yeah, the eyes.
Yeah.
Everything is with the eyes.
I'm telling you, bro. Did I about the scripture say she take you with her eyelids?
Yeah.
What we at? I don't know what the
3:16.
All right, go back. Read Isaiah 3:16 again. Well, no, you finished breaking it down. You were doing good. Read it again for the brother.
Isaiah chapter 3 and verse 16.
With the officer, Salaki.
Moreover, the Lord said, because the daughters of Zion are haughty, and walk with stretched forth necks, and wanton eyes, walking and mixing as they go, and making a tinkling with their feet.
I'm sorry, it's just that part killed me. But the Most High God said this is why these curses were put on you. Because you're so hard-headed. You walk with your neck stretched forth like you're so stuck up.
Yep.
The wanton eyes, you know. Oh, he got a big car. He got a nice car. That's a Lexus, girl. Fat wallet. And you know you can take a brother with your seductive looks and eyelids. And walking and menacing as they go. You know how the women got. So they go into the twisting eye of the hips too. Walking and menacing as you go, and the little twinkling with your feet. Now at that time, that's because they had the ornaments around their legs, you know, around their ankles. But they used to do a little certain walk where it's tinkling with their feet, the bells twinkling.
All right, let me get something now. Let's get 16 again.
All right. Isaiah chapter 3 and verse 16. Moreover, the Lord said, because the daughters of Zion are haughty.
Now, it says because the daughters of Zion are haughty. Now, haughty means to be arrogant.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Conceited.
Right.
Go ahead.
And walk with stretched forth
The
necks.
stretched forth neck, that's an attribute that they got. That all that, how they move their head and all that jump there. You know what I'm saying? Go ahead, read on.
And wanting eyes.
And wanton eyes. You want everything you got, and you want all the attention as well. That's twofold in there.
Right.
Go ahead.
Walking and mincing as they go, and making a twinkling with their feet.
That's the way that you walk. That's seductiveness.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And also, you know, because we know that the women were decked down in jewels.
Right.
The women were fine, man. I'm telling you, dog, the women was, they ain't had that cheap gold shit. They had real arm bracelets, real rings, real, you know what I'm saying, ankle bracelets, all that type of stuff, man. The women had this divine beauty bestowed upon them from the Most High.
That bling bling.
And then guess what happened? Moreover, because they were, I just read on.
Therefore the Lord will smite with a scab the crown of the head of the daughters of Zion.
That's where the sisters became scallywags and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? The weave, all that type of stuff. That's why women run to that. They were cursed. Their heads, the crown of their heads, which was the hair. Go ahead. And also the crown, take that off you, baby. You ain't the queen no more. Go that to the side. Go ahead.
And the Lord will discover their secret part.
Uh-huh.
And
He will discover their secret parts. Exposed. Now, I'm going to show you how it's just so real, because now today that's a style.
Right.
When back in the days it was shame.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Now it's a style to walk with the bottom of your booty cheeks out.
Right.
Go ahead.
In that day, the Lord will take away the bravery of their tinkling ornaments about their feet, and their collars, and their round tires like the moon.
That's them head wraps.
Right.
Oh.
Go ahead.
The chains, and the bracelets, and the mufflers, the bonnets, and the ornaments of the legs, and the headbands, and the tablets, and the earrings, and the rings and nose jewels, the changeable suits of apparel, and the mantles and the wimples and the crisping pins, the glasses and the fine linen, and the hoods and the veils. And it shall come to pass that instead of sweet smell, there shall be stank.
Instead of sweet smells, it shall be stank. That's why the women.
Smell like fish.
That's why they caught that stereotype though. I mean, that saying, that proverb. Because instead of it smelling like fruits, berries, and stuff like that, now it has an odor to it. And even the other women who it smell like water over here, well, that still ain't correct because it's supposed to be fruits with a sweet smell.
What them boys from Outkast said. It really smell like boo.
All right, where we at? Jump to 20. Yeah, go ahead.
All right, and it shall come to pass that instead of sweet smell, there shall be stank. And instead of a girdle, a ring.
Instead of a nice set stomach, go ahead.
And instead of a well set hair, baldness.
That's where our women. Go ahead.
And instead of a stomacher,
Girding sack. Ooh.
a girding of sack.
That's
cloth.
It's basically the same thing. Instead of you having that nice flat stomach, now you got a girdle sackcloth.
Oh, man. Damn.
And burning instead of beauty.
All right. So now watch this. All those things came upon the women for their arrogance. For their arrogance. Haughty means arrogant or to be proud. You know what I'm saying? In your pride, you disrespect brothers and whatever. That's a proud sister. Scriptures tell you, man, that that's and the sisters who always got something to say. Even when the women don't say nothing, they do all that stuff. That's your haughtiness. That's you and your pride. You proud. Like you done, like women done mastered the art of talking back without talking.
Right. Especially when you look in their face.
You done mastered the art of talking without talking. That's how our women have gotten. Watch this. Go to get the precept. Sirach 25:14. Not a literal precept to this, but.
You said 25:14.
Sirach 25:14. Yeah, come on.
Sirach chapter 25 and verse 14. Sirach chapter 25 and verse 14. And an affliction, but the affliction from them that hate me.
Is you in the right place?
25:14.
I might have put the wrong verse. Let me see 25.
17.
Oh,
What does it say?
the weakness.
No. I need the opposite. Silent.
Oh, that's 20. Oh, that's 25, 26.
Give me that.
No, I'm sorry, that's 26 and 14.
Give me.
Sirach chapter 26 and verse 14. Sirach chapter 26 and verse 14. A silent and loving woman is a gift of the Lord, and there is nothing so much worth as a mind well instructed.
Right. So it says, a silent and loving woman is a gift from the Lord. Now, 75% of the women are already eliminated from right there. 75% of them already eliminated right there. Y'all ain't loving. You're full of attitude. And definitely ain't silent. Full of words. Always got something to say. Never uplifting words either. Only words that beat down the courage and the strength of the man.
All right.
You know what I'm saying? Or some of the women, they'll speak life into the man and then speak it right back out of him.
All right. Tell me, man, I seen that what his brother came home for. He said, "Babe, can you make me a sandwich?" She gonna tell me, "You ain't even hungry." How you gonna
Now I'm gonna show y'all something. I want y'all to hear this video real quick. It's this brother, he going in, but it's some real stuff that women need to hear.
Please gird yourselves. It's gonna get real ugly.
Y'all got to hear this, man. And this phone wanna die.
For real.
I got 4% left.
Your phone.
Alrighty, so here's the clip for the women.
Y'all good?
Y'all got to hear this.
but they don't hesitate to use stereotypes at every turn. Can you think of any group whose leaders do that? You say you're strong and independent, but the sad truth is, what you are is in denial. You told the world the reason Black America's in the shape it's in is because the black man's not there. But who ran him off? You did. And who keeps choosing losers who won't stay? You do. And who's been raising these no good black men the last 40 years? You have. I look at the enormous number of children being raised by single mothers, and there's no denying most of today's black women are egotistical children who simply refuse to take the first and most important step in adulthood, accepting responsibility for one's decisions. It is simply impossible to get a black woman to take responsibility for anything. She chooses bad men? Well, it's because they're all bad. She has kids out of wedlock? Well, he should have brought protection. She can't find a decent man? He's intimidated by strong women. Dodging responsibility may make you feel better, but has it solved any of the problems? Because the common denominator in our problems comes back to the home. And who has been running the home? You have. Black America has taken on the characteristics of an immature woman. Indecisive, bitchy, petty as hell, and always making excuses for why things are so bad. You're strong and independent, but apparently you're not strong enough to raise a responsible child, and not independent enough to find a good man. Though that doesn't seem to be a problem for white women. Black men are starting to decide to opt out on black women, and that's a major shame in and of itself. The black woman is the mother of humanity. But any man who can get a non-black woman does. Why is this? We need to look at it. They can't handle a strong woman. They want somebody gonna be a doormat. Oh, really? Let's take a look at the women these black men are choosing, and then take a look at who the black women choose for men, and we'll see who's getting walked on and who's not. White women are snatching up the good black men, and they are making happy lives together, almost without exception. When a white woman gets with a black man, he isn't on drugs, he's respectful of her, he's accomplished, and he's loyal. They don't have children until after they're married. In other words, white women want a man, not a little boy they have to bail out of jail and argue with his ex-girlfriends. But the white woman is the doormat. You, on the other hand, have a series of losers working on their second or third strike. You think with your crotch, so when a man comes around, your first priority is getting yourself some thug loving. You and your male figure constantly fight. He has more ex-fiancés than he has fingers, and he hasn't had a job since you met him. He leaves you with kids, no child support, and no other man willing to take you. And you seek out this kind of treatment your entire lives. This isn't some bolt of lightning that hits you out of the blue. This is something you went out to find, and you were not satisfied until you found it. This is black female culture. But you say it's the white woman who's the doormat. The black man finds happiness with a white woman, and you're quick to remind him that lynchings often involved an accusation of rape or even something as petty as disrespect shown against a white woman. But you make up interracial fantasies about imaginary white men who can't wait to sleep with you. And on the few occasions when you do find some weirdo looking for a booty call, you suddenly stuff the attitude. No back talk, no acting out, no arguing for the sake of arguing. With a white man, you are on your best behavior. Whatever happened to...
Hold up. We gotta run that back. Y'all gotta hear what this man just said.
The black man finds happiness with a white woman, and you're quick to remind him that lynchings often involved an accusation of rape or even something as petty as disrespect shown against a white woman. But you make up interracial fantasies about imaginary white men who can't wait to sleep with you. And on the few occasions when you do find some weirdo looking for a booty call, you suddenly stuff the attitude. No back talk, no acting out, no arguing for the sake of arguing. With a white man, you are on your best behavior. Whatever happened to strong and independent? because I thought you were the ones who said that same white man raped you during slavery, turned you into a broodmare whose only purpose was to pop out more kids, only to see that white man you say you want so much sell them at auction. And for that white man to tell the world you were a Jezebel and a whore by nature. Yes, that was you who said those things. Your reputation as a hot-in-the-pants mammy was created by white men, and even the rappers who perpetuate that stereotype work for record labels owned by the descendants of those same white men. Oh, but the black man is the slave. The punchline to this joke is that these same black women have been threatening to date outside the race for 40 years. When asked why this exodus hasn't occurred, they chalk it up to loyalty to the race. You got a damn funny way of showing it. Stop me if you've heard this one before. You're at the McDonald's or the mall. Some black woman sits down next to you or near you. She has her cell phone glued to her hand, and she's in a loud conversation with, you guessed it, the baby daddy. Before long, she asks, when you gonna come by and see your son? She doesn't even bother to ask when he's going to come see her. She already knows. He hit it and quit it. But she was willing to do anything to keep him, including bringing a new life into this world that she didn't give a damn about, but will now be connected to until the day she dies. And we all know that's why we have so many illegitimate births. Black women are so self-centered, they look at these priceless children as nothing more than anchor babies, meant to keep men around who aren't worth 2 cents. That alone tells you what the black woman has degenerated into. And that's why black women so frequently mistreat their children. The children are reminders of the men that they wanted. And the babies that they didn't want in the first place. Now think about this. 70% of black children are born out of wedlock. 70%. You still want to tell me this isn't a black female problem? Black women have become ghetto schemers by and large, using tricks to get a man and more tricks to keep him. This is why black men can date out of the race and black women can't. And if black women are held in such high regard, why is it that the black man who some poor stupid fool recently wanted to characterize as the bottom of the totem pole now stands at the apex of world power? There were plenty of black women on the presidential ballot, and there have been for years, and even white women. But society saw something in the properly educated black man that they never saw in any strong, independent black woman. Your ego has driven you to madness. You don't want advancement anymore. You just want praise, whether it's deserved or not. You don't have authority, so you go looking for petty power, bully power, the kind that can only be enforced if the man allows himself to fall into arenas where the law, or in this case, the website administrators, can be made to do what you want. And when he doesn't go for your power-tripping games, when he takes his balls and goes home, you cry no fair and bitch and complain that they can't handle a strong woman. That's why you spend so much time talking about why you're single and your illegitimate children. Marriage and the home were supposed to be your arenas by now, where you were going to be in charge. Instead, you outsmarted yourselves. Black men are airing the dirty laundry, and the best you can do is tell the world more ridiculous lies. We're going to go and get white men. People love black women. We're the hottest thing going. Well, let's look at the numbers and see if that's true. Blacks only make up 6% of business owners. That's probably why 15% of blacks are unemployed, more if you count those underemployed. Black children drop out of school at a rate of 50%. 70% of black women are single. Not surprisingly, 70% of black births are out of wedlock. And these black children go on to make up 45% of all state and federal prisoners.
God
These statistics all have one thing in common. The strong, independent black woman who has been running the black home into the ground. You know, when you're 70th in this percentile and 50th in that one, you look kind of stupid waving the big foam rubber we're number one finger. The world is moving forward, and as it stands, the strong, independent black woman is getting left behind because she's not strong or independent. She's a pathetic child who demands to be told she's great because the only thing she has is ego. What makes this truly sad is that the black woman is the mother of humanity. There was a time when her greatest virtue was internal strength, not external belligerence. She was respected back then. The women of today have failed to produce a Queen T. Instead, we get Queen Latifah. Where's our Queen Makeda? Today, it's Moesha. Queen Nzinga and Yana Santiwa? No way. Beyonce and Lil' Kim are the new royalty now. Apparently, when it comes to greatness, this is the best black women can do. Could you see the queens of Egypt having sex with lowlifes, giving birth to babies they hate, and then bragging about themselves afterwards? You don't know what a queen is. And until you relearn it, don't expect anyone to want to respect you. I, for one, will say this. As a black man, I want our queens back. To hell with the divas.
Goddamn right.
Well spoken, motherfucker. Well spoken, my brother.
Hey, the hell with the Egypt stuff, but y'all get the drift.
Know what
Yeah.
I mean?
You know what I'm saying? You go back and watch that thing and listen to that brother. He said some.
Heaviest stuff in there.
Hey,
As far as I did, catch, I'm like, damn.
he said 70% of the children born out of wedlock, and the same 70% is raised by independent black women, single parent homes led by the mother, and out of that 70%, 45% of them go to prison.
Damn.
Yeah.
Read that in Isaiah 3:12 again. But it's still up and taking places, man. I'm telling you now, you're finding out exactly what's happening.
Isaiah chapter 3 and verse 12. Isaiah chapter 3 and verse 12. As for my people, children are their oppressors, and women rule over them.
And women rule over them, and then what happened?
O my people, they which lead thee cause thee to error,
They that lead thee cause thee to error. Go ahead.
and destroy the ways of thy path.
Which is why the Most High set you to lead. The Bible told you clear as day, you rule over her. That's why when things happen, I come to you men. I don't be caring about y'all talking about, I ain't doing this, your wife. I'm coming to you because the Most High told you to rule over her. You chose to take that task. So now, guess what? This brother blew my mind. His speech is real, man, but check this out. Let's go back to Sirach 25. I think that's the last verse we was at. 14. Sirach 25, 14? Or is it 26?
26.
26, 14, Salakia.
Sirach chapter 26 and verse 14. Sirach chapter 26 and verse 14. A silent and loving woman is a gift of the Lord, and there is nothing so much worth as a mind well instructed.
Now, there's the point. A mind well instructed. Well, who she instructed by?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Because the Lord said there's a silent and loving woman is a gift from the Lord, and there's nothing so much worth as a mind well instructed. She's going to be instructed by the law, statutes, and commandments. But she's going to learn that from who? Her husband. You know what I'm saying? Of course, y'all, we know y'all learn in the Congo, but if she shall learn anything, let her ask her husband. Thus saith the Lord. So now, watch this. Go to but I just want to deal with that for a second because it said a silent and loving woman. And remember, I told y'all 70% of the women. It's crazy how I said 70%, then he come in and break down statistics with 70%.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? 70% of the women over here. Well, I'm gonna go 75. 75% of the women already eliminated from being a gift from the Lord off dribble, just off the first line. Silent and loving.
Yeah.
Them are not silent, full of words, bitter, anger, random. Ready to give me Proverbs 21:19.
Proverbs chapter 21 and verse 19. Proverbs chapter 21 and verse 19. It is better to dwell in the wilderness than with a contentious and angry woman.
Right, so Scripture says it is better to dwell in the wilderness You know what I'm saying? In the wilderness, you're gonna entangle with all type of things. You don't know what's gonna come. But it's better to have to be. It's better to go somewhere and have to deal with whatever the unexpected than to live with a contentious woman,
Right.
full of anger, full of words. Can't be the solid and loving woman the Bible talking about. Angry and full of words. And the Lord said, "Man, you better off going to the woods. You better off taking your chances with anacondas and bears and everything else."
Wolves and all this shit. That's crazy.
Alright, because that contentious woman, you know, you see, I'm telling you, I've seen it, man. A contentious woman arguing, ready to fight. Brother want to leave. She's standing all in front of the door. You ain't got no what. Pulling the shirt, he slap her. Get your hand off mine. Oh, you hit me!
Yeah.
Oh! Snares and traps. You don't know what you're going to get with a wicked woman.
Right.
Scripture say what? All wickedness is but little wickedness to the wickedness of.
A woman.
Alright. Let's go to let's go back to damn, what the hell was I thinking about? My mind just went blank. Salakia. Alright, so go to Matthew 7 and 20. Matthew chapter 7 verse 20. We about to wrap it up.
Matthew chapter 7 and verse 20. Matthew chapter 7 and verse 20. Wherefore, by their fruits ye shall know them.
Scripture says, by their fruits you shall know them. You know what I'm saying? Now that's heavy. Because if your wife's a righteous woman, by the fruits it's going to show. If they're a virtuous woman, by their works, their fruits is going to show. You know what I'm saying? The things that they produce, the things that they cause, will show who they are. Alright? Read it again.
Matthew chapter 7 and verse 20. Wherefore, by their fruits ye shall know them.
By their fruits you shall know them. Now go to Titus 2. Titus 2 and 3. Because what we know for sure, that the scriptures let you know that the wicked is going to get mad. The wicked women who ain't trying to change, they'll be mad at this message. They'll be mad.
Titus 2 and what?
3.
So, like I was saying, the Bible lets you know that the wicked woman will get mad at this message. The righteous woman will accede to change. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to show you. Let's go to Titus 2 and 3.
Titus chapter 2 and verse 3. Titus chapter 2 and verse 3. The aged woman likewise,
So it says, first of all, the aged woman likewise.
that they be in behavior as becometh holy.
Now, holiness is something that's set apart. A woman obeying her husband, that will definitely set you apart today.
Right.
A woman that is silent and loving is going to set you apart today. You know what I'm saying? Understand this. Like how he said, he remembered when a woman's strength was internal and not external belligerence.
Right.
Meaning what? The way that a woman carried herself, the way that she loved her household, the way that she dwelled and dealt, and remember, kind words come from within. If your mind is rotten, we're going to hear it in your conversation.
Oh, yeah.
So, the woman, that aged woman, that righteous aged woman, she's going to say and she's going to do things that profess her to be holy. It's going to profess in her actions, just manifesting her deeds and the things that she say and do. All right, watch this.
Not false accusers.
Oh yeah, Salaki, because you know that in today's society, it is frowned upon for a woman to actually be in holiness, according to the scriptures. You know what I'm saying? It's a shame. I'm telling you, that nigga rule her, tell her what she gonna say. Ain't no nigga gonna tell me when I can be in here. That's why you ain't got one.
Right.
Game over.
Go ahead. And the one you got weak as hell. He's, you know what I'm saying? he need to fold towels and shit.
Let's say it, baby. Yes. Yes.
Go ahead.
Not false accusers.
Not false accusers. Because, boy, the sister will lie on her brother in a second.
Oh, my God.
Not given to much wine.
Not giving to too much wine. Don't be drunkards. Don't be drunk as hell. You know what I'm saying? Don't be competing with me how many cups I can take. You think you're going to take the same amount down. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? If I drink 2 cups, you don't need 2 cups. You know what I'm saying? You should have 1. Get them in half portion so you can fake like you had 2. That's what I'm saying. I'm saying, no, I'm dead serious, but it's some sisters that, you know, okay, You may have a little more of a tolerance than other sisters. Okay, that's cool. But your tolerance don't need to be like mine.
Right.
Go ahead.
Teachers of good things.
Be teachers of good things. Your example is people watching you. And the reason why I wanted that, because you know what an age sister would do? She hit this class and be like, damn, you know what? I heard them classes. We have been slipping. We've been messing up. As a righteous sister, hey, man, don't talk. Don't let that message get you down. You know what I'm saying? Hey, we just got to tighten up. We need to do this, do that. That's what a righteous age sister start directing. You know what? Damn, we was slacking here. Hey, look, this is how we going to do this. A righteous sister, age sister going to take a charge to make sure she get her house back in order now and get back to the men that's around them and make sure, hey, man, we're going to be the best service so they can get the job done. If they doing the job done, we're going to be able to look at them and say, what?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? That's what the righteous woman going to do. You know what the wicked woman going to do? She going to put forth the finger. She going to get mad. And so all of a sudden, the class don't mean shit no more. You'll see, brother, there's going to be a difference between those who are righteous and those who are wicked. The righteous woman, who in this case would be the aged woman, she's going to start looking at it and really take a full round examine. I'm like, you know what? I have been slipping here. Damn, when he was talking about that shit do fit me. I know it's me. A righteous sister going to notice it and then put efforts in to change it. Then you got those who just going to be Sirach, 32 and 17. They just going to complain. They're going to point fingers. It's never going to get solved. It's just always going to be, damn, why y'all keep going through something? Because you do this, and well, but you do this, well, you do that.
Right.
It's never, the righteous sister ain't never going to say, damn, you know what? The Lord told me not to argue with you whatsoever. So even though you wrong, I'm still goddamn wrong. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And then, you know, it's like, a righteous sister know how to deal with it. You know what I'm saying? Don't let your words come at that time. You know, it's a time you can come back and say something.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? A righteous man holdeth his thoughts to the end of a matter.
Right.
So a righteous sister, they going to hear these classes and they going to do exactly that. Listen.
Right.
See what applies to me. I'm going to take the meat off her and spit bones out.
Right.
And the wicked sister, she just get mad at the whole message. Just fuck it.
My stepmama, my mama was talking to her one day. So, but don't you talk back to that man. I don't give a damn. I said, damn, she just told her daughter she don't give a damn. Don't you talk back to that man. It was the end of that conversation. Like, that's beautiful.
You know what I'm saying? And so that's why you men better make sure you take your places. Be strong. Because, and oh, don't get the booty, the booty change. My brother, he was hard behind the classes. He shared the class, everything. Oh, we taking our stuff back. What you doing? This nigga go home, right? I say, damn, brother, I thought you said you was gonna make the sister do such and such. I said, yeah, man, but we had a conversation. We had some wine. You know what I'm saying? We made love. I ain't gonna lie, we made love, and everything good now. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, I say, brother, give me Sirach 19 and 2. Watch this. Y'all gonna live. Read Sirach 19 and 2. This brother weak. Watch this. I just want the first line. The first line tells it all. Sirach 19 and 2.
Sirach chapter 19 and verse 2. Sirach chapter 19 and verse 2.
Watch this, bro. And watch how I tell on you. Well, 19 and 2, say it again.
Sirach chapter 19 and verse 2. Wine and women will make man of understanding to fall.
Bam, there it is. There it is. There it is. Hey, brothers, man. Y'all better, man. It's cool. Wine and women will cause a man of understanding to err.
Right.
He gonna fall, man.
Right.
Hey, man. These pretty women. I'm gonna stop there. No, let's keep going. Let's keep going. Read the rest of this. Read it from the top.
Sirach chapter 19 and verse 2.
The brother say the liquor glass in the hoe's ass changes his mind.
That's crazy.
Salakia.
Wine and women will make men of understanding to fall away. And he that cleaveth to harlots will become impudent.
Stupid as hell. Hey, but you know what? I've seen brothers also destroy their home off of that bottom man. I'm saying cleaving the harlots and shit like that.
Yeah, right.
Brothers not right. And that's the thing too. You know what it is? I'm gonna tell you what I figured out with women. Women think that us calling them out or putting them in place or correcting them, they take it as if that means that they always wrong. A man ain't never wrong. They
Right.
think they take it as if we don't see if a man is off.
Right.
Instead of looking at it and taking it the same way these brothers take it when I'm coming down on them. When I'm on these brothers, the brothers, yeah, I know they get in their feelings. I know because as men, you got pride. But for the most part, you never see them going too much back and forth. You never see them making excuses for why stuff ain't getting done. Like, I come down on St. John all the time. He always like, I ain't got no excuses. You know what I'm saying? Often. You know what I'm saying? Even if I'm coming down on him and what I'm saying may not even sound like it's correct. You eat it, because you know if you go back and forth with me, then it's only going to lead to more. And the further we go, the worse the turnout going to be. Versus, wait, hold your peace. I'm going to ask you, you got something you want to say. Hold your peace, and then when it's your time to spit it back. And if it makes sense, you'll hear me say, well, whatever I said, I starting to make swips and swaps. Not the goddamn women. The moment you start talking about niggas, hold on, nigga.
They talk the Holy
They was giving the sister correction online. They told the sister, how would you feel if we cut you off? Because she's like, well. I said, what? Like, that's the women though. Well, I'm like, see.
That's a damn shame.
All right. Watch this. Read that verse again. So you brothers don't be getting caught up. Read it one more time.
Wine and women will make men of understanding to fall away.
They're going to make men of understanding fall away. You know how many men of how many men of understanding in error due to women?
Yeah.
Just a little wine. We had a good time, brother, you know what I'm saying? We worked it out. She had some wine. She was telling me all this stuff. Okay. Get me Romans 1:32. It's not a beautiful thing. I want the brother to understand that. It's not a beautiful thing that your woman is out of order and she could woo you back into forgiving her wickedness with her booty and a glass of wine.
Romans chapter 1 and verse 32. Romans chapter 1 and verse 32. Who knoweth the judgment of God, that they which commit such things are worthy of death. Not only do the same, but have pleasure in them that do them.
Right. So here this verse is heavy, because if you take pleasure in your wife doing wickedness, guess what? Just like she's worthy of death, you are too now. This verse here kind of explains a lot of stuff. Like, if you take pleasure in Tyler Perry dressing up as Medea, you're gonna die for that. If you take pleasure in these Negroes singing about having sex with other men's wives and stuff like that, you take pleasure in that, you're gonna die for that. You know what I'm saying? Read 32 again.
Verse 32. Who knowing the judgment of God, that they which commit such things are worthy of death.
Right. They that commit such things are going to be worthy of death. What woman in here is confused about the fact that they supposed to submit to the men? So if you can't do it, then what does that mean? Read. You are worthy.
Oh, are worthy of death.
And then guess what else? Those, because it's people who love the ignorance. You know what I'm saying? And watch TV shows just to see the ignorance. To see women out of order with men and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Well, if you enjoy watching those things, then guess what else? Bottom half.
Not only do the same, but have pleasure in them that do them.
Right. So the scriptures say they are worthy of death. Whether you do, if you a doer, you worthy of the death, and if you take pleasure in it, you worthy of death. So the Most High is crossing you out on both ways. There's no way that we should be happy or content with our women not being in order.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Even Romans 1 and where is it at? Where is it at? Salaki. Go ahead, drop it. All right, so our women being out of place and out of order is one of the things that's worthy of death. And guess what? Your job as a man is to find a way to keep your wife from death. Because a good wife is supposed to find a way to what? The Bible says that a good wife is a tower against death.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And how she would double the days of her husband's life. All right, so it is our job to restore order, restore place, and put everything back where it's supposed to be. And that's what you men on top and your women up under you. You know what I'm saying? And some of you love that position in sex anyway, so make it that in your daily life. Right? So with that, y'all forgive me for the last line. I know some people, oh my God. All right, with that, I say shalom. I pray y'all took something from it. Go out to your daily lives, and we out.
Shalom.